And welcome to the Intuitive Entrepreneur Show, where you take enlightened entrepreneurs, coaches, and influencers together to discuss cutting-edge topics in the world of relationships, culture, business, and spirituality. And here's your host, Miss Carol Boston.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Intuitive Entrepreneur Show. If you've been following me, you know that I've been talking about changing the show. And you want to make sure you're here next Wednesday because the founder of the platform, Miss Max Anjanetta Jones herself, is going to be on the show, and we're going to be talking about some changes. But before we talk about that, you know, I'm your weather girl, and I'm looking around here, and it is hot as hell in sunny South Florida. Several days of the last 10 days, most of the days, our heat indices was over 100 degrees, and we're only in May. That doesn't usually happen until July or August. It's going to be a hot one. And they have predicted more than double the amount of hurricanes that are going to happen this year because the waters are so hot. So in the comments, let me know where you're chiming in from and what the weather's like where you are. We had a little bit of technical difficulty. How many of you have ever had technical difficulty? I never use that word hate, ever, except when it comes to my phone. My phone's terrible. And I'll say, I hate my phone. My best friend will go, yeah, but it was free. Oh, and I don't know what I want to upgrade to or change to. So right now I'm tolerating it, right? And we get what we tolerate. But yeah, make sure you tune in next week. We're going to be making changes to the show, bringing in new material, taking it in a bit of different direction. It's going to be super beneficial to each and every one of you. We're going to do more learning, more teaching, more training, and having different guests on. So I'm excited about that. Those of you who've been around a while know I've been doing the show for about, 19, 20 months already, I think. And as Max just reminded me a few minutes ago on the phone, you are intuitive, Carol. But I want to take it in a different direction. So if you've got any ideas, feel free to pop them in the comments, even though we're working on some of our own. So you guys know me. I love to teach. I love to train. I love to be a cheerleader for people. I love to see them grow and actually watch them change and grow and succeed and celebrate their successes. So I asked someone today, well, if I could teach or train or talk about anything you want some help on? And they said to me, managing conflict with your partner. Oh my God. Awesome, awesome topic. So right now, I am in, I think this is the last week of a 12-week coaching program. And in 2 weeks, I'm going to take it again because there is so much material and awesome information in it. And it's called BANK, B.A.N.K. Stands for Blueprint, Action, Nurture, and Knowledge. This is patented. The founder just got a patent on it this year. It has been scientifically validated, and it's where you can crack someone's code, called Crack Your Code, because there are 4 personality codes. It is not like the HR profile of DISC or the, what's that other one where you have the funny pictures in human resources, that kind of thing. This helps you understand why people buy. Now, is it just for business? Absolutely not. It is freaking phenomenal for communication. I'm going to give you a couple of stories today where I've seen it save marriages, and I've seen it radically change, improve, and save a mother-son relationship. And you get to use it in business. Because remember, how we do anything is how we do everything. It's all intertwined, right? We're not one way over here and a different way over here. We want to think that we are, because that's how we justify stuff to ourselves. But it's not true. It's not true. So oftentimes we get into conflict with our partner because we take things personal. And one of the things this system is teaching is that it's not personal, it's personality. It's not personal, it's personality. Opposites attract, and then they attack. Well, what in the world causes that? Way too much to go into today, but just know that it happens. And we're going to be talking a lot more about this technology. If you're interested, I can send you a link and you can crack your code in less than 90 seconds. You're going to get a free report and I'll get a report, and we will hop on a Zoom or a call and talk about What is your dominating style, right? What is your dominating code? Which one is your stress code, and how does it fit in with your mode of communication? So yeah, we're going to talk about managing conflict with our partners. Oh my gosh, Kathleen Tyner's in the house. She says, Miss Carol, hello, Miss Kathleen Tyner. We have been sending up prayers and lots of love and light for you. I hope things went well with the doctor, and I hope your hubby's doing well. I know you've had your challenges and your conflicts. So we keep talking about hopping on the phone, but I'm glad to see that you're here. Glad to see that you're here. So, bank, blueprint, action, nurture, knowledge. It is interesting. It's beyond interesting. Like I say, eventually I will go on to get certified in this. And it fits in so complementary, Kathleen, with what I teach and train on empowering questions, how to get the answers that you really want. That's what I teach on, right? Is effective communication. It's one of the things I help my clients in, sales and communications. Because in every conversation we have, we're selling ourselves, aren't we? We're either trying to enroll somebody in our vision or we're getting enrolled in theirs. And then the battle comes when we take it personal and not understanding that it's personality. And so perhaps you're in a relationship with someone who's the opposite, right? Kathleen says prayers are very appreciated. Absolutely. Absolutely. So one of the things you get to do when you find yourself in conflict with your partner or your spouse is begin to come from a place of curiosity and not judgment. Curiosity and not judgment. Michelle, who's my trainer, we're going to have her on the show. She's been doing this for years and years and years. As a matter of fact, the lady who invented this just got back from teaching it to the United Nations. The United Nations. Besides being on stages with Tony Robbins and all these other amazing freaking people, right? Oprah Winfrey. It's patented and it's scientifically validated that you can crack somebody's code in less than 90 seconds. Once you learn that, and then you go through the training, you understand how to communicate to them, right? And hopefully they go through it with you and they learn how to communicate with you so that it's not all just one way. Let me give you an example. Jeff Purdue Atkins in the house. He says, woohoo things. I do get curiosity, not judgment. Awesome. Awesome. So my code, and I'm going to start putting it on here because people are going to start asking. My code is NBKA. NBKA. Now, it's way too much information to go into all of it today, but just know that my dominant code is nurturing. What does that mean? I'm all about relationships, connection, community, service. When I see you, I want a hug, right? That's what I want. It's get to know me first, build a relationship before you try to sell me anything. These 4 codes will teach you why people buy, right? In this particular training, you also learn that you can increase your sales by 300%. Because 82% of the time, people only buy from someone who is also speaking their dominant code. That means, and I've been sending some of my past clients this link to crack their code, right? Because I didn't have it when I started. But knowing who they are, I can guarantee you that probably 80 to 90% of my past clients are high ends. That's why I drew them. That's why they were attracted to me. But I get to learn how to speak to B's and A's and K's, right? And not leave that money on the table because I don't know how to speak to their code. That's why I'm so excited about what I'm learning. And then I'm going to go through it again. Kathleen said, I would like to be able to go to Italy to members of my household without them being defensive and feeling attacked and not feeling, to talk. So not to Italy. All right, forgive me, Kathleen. I would like to be able to talk to the members of my household without them being defensive and feeling attacked. And me not feeling disrespected. Exactly. That's exactly what this teaches you and what you can learn. Right? So I'm a high N. My second code is B. They're only 1 point apart. Right? Blueprints. Blueprints love structure. That's me. They love the rules. That's me. Blueprints stay in the box. Right? We like having a box. We like knowing where the boundaries are. When you meet a blueprint, they don't want a hug. They want a handshake. They're more formal. You can tell by how they dress. there's just so much to learn. I'm so excited to be going through this program again. I may go through it a couple more times and then launch into getting certified. It's really quite fascinating. So let me just give you a couple of quick stories. One, Michelle, my trainer, had a horrible, horrible relationship with her son. She didn't know why. Horrible. And then she found bank quite a few years ago. And she delved into it. And her son came in one day and she handed him 4 cards and in a particular way asked him to put these cards in order. And the script is a particular way because then it speaks to what? All 4 codes. And he did. And he had his code and she showed him her code and she looked at him and she said, I am so sorry. I have been running over you your entire life. She's a high A. A's are all about being the center of attention, being the life of the party, right? They like the Rolexes and the Hermes bags, and they want to know that they've got the best of everything, and they're the first ones to do this. And they will go, go, go. They make snap decisions. They don't have a box. They're not even in the box. They blew up the box, right? But her son is a high B, opposites. He wants structure. He wants to know the process. He wants to know the steps. He wants to follow the rules. A people are like, what rules? Are there rules? And she began to learn to speak to him in his code. And their relationship is so phenomenal now. It's amazing. As a matter of fact, he called her from school the other day, college, and he got accepted into this special program at Stanford, I believe it was. And what she wanted to do, she wanted to throw a freaking party and scream and jump up and down. Oh my God. But she knew she got to speak into his blueprint code. So she said, I'm so proud of you, son. That's awesome. When you come home, we're going to figure out a plan and map it out exactly how you're going to get there and where you're going to go and where you're going to stay. And he was like, thank you, Mom. Turns out her husband is what? A B, opposites attract. Right? And she gets to remind herself, it's not personal, it's just personality. Think about it. If you could take it from being a personal attack on you and take that out of the equation, you're going to have a lot fewer arguments, right? Party, Kathleen says party, right? So I have a good friend that asked me to help them organize and clean up their condo. I happen to be very good at spatial organization. I do it very quickly. I can look at something and know exactly how to pack it in a box so that it all gets in there and it all fits. And she wanted help with her condo, cleaning it up. And when we started, everything was going really well. And then I started getting a lot of pushback from her, a lot of pushback. And I couldn't figure it out. But I'm in this bank training. I didn't even think to pull out my cards and show you what they look like. So instead of saying what the old Carol would have said, the old Carol would have said, look, you asked me for my help. I'm here. My time is valuable. Do you want my help or not? That's what the old Carol would have done. Not the Carol that understands personality codes. I popped over to her condo one day, took my laptop and said, open up your laptop. I'm going to send you a link. Let's crack your code. I said, I'm going to write down on a piece of paper what I think your code is, and I'm going to put it face down. And you're going to tell me what your code is after you do it. So she did it. Right? And she said, my code is ANKB. ANKB. Action. Her action is high. So I realized, right, she doesn't have any rules. Don't remind you, or she would say, don't remind me that I asked for your help. Right? That puts too much pressure on me. So I waited, went back a few days later, and I said, hey, Deb, guess what? When I get back from my dad's funeral, you know what we're going to do? And she says, what? I said, I'm going to buy some tequila, make us the best margaritas, and we're going to go attack that part of your condo. We're going to have a party and get it cleaned up. How does that sound? She goes, that sounds awesome. A's love to have parties. They love to be the center of attention. Guess what? We're getting a lot of this shit done. And I recognize in a second when it's no longer fun to her, we stop. A's like to have fun, right? Fascinating. We're making so much progress now. It's incredible Because I learned what? To speak in her code. To speak in her code. Kathleen said, you do organizing? Flying you out in June. Love to do it. As a matter of fact, I just went over to Eileen, another lady in the Women's Executive Club. I went over to her house 2 weeks ago and took a look at her garage. And they happened to be going on a month-long cruise, and it's hot as hell right now. But I looked around and said, yeah, no problem. We'll get this done. We'll just figure out a price. You can pay me. And she said, oh, I'm definitely going to pay you because it's a mess. But I can quickly see how to get it cleaned up and organized where they can find everything and know right where it is. So yeah, fly me out in June and I'll come fix you up. But when you're talking about managing conflict with your partner, oftentimes it's A, because we take things personally. B, we're not trying to see things from their viewpoint. We're not trying to come from curiosity. C, we want to be right. Come on, how many of you know you get into an argument because you want to be right? Having a discussion is about what's best for us, not who's right. And when we can learn to speak into their code, we can understand what their code is. There's one of the other trainers. She's phenomenal. Her name is Mamie. She and her husbands are opposites, right? She's an N, he's a K. N's and K's. What did I just say? Two of the clients that I fired in the last year are K's. And I immediately said, I don't want to work with K's. Right? Well, that would just have me leaving business on the table. I get to learn how to communicate in their code. Make sense? Put it in the chat. That's making sense, Carol. Kathleen said, opposites attract, and it works if they complement each other and lift each other up. Exactly, but oftentimes they attack. Kathleen said, yes, definitely on all of it. Right. So when I tell you that Michelle's husband is a high B, and she's a high A, remember, she'll laugh and she'll tell you, I don't know how many cars I've purchased in my lifetime. I see that new car, I go in, I want that car. They want me to read the paperwork. I don't want to read the paperwork. I know what the paperwork says. I want the car. And she says, I want to buy the car. My husband, on the other hand, she says, he can take 18 months to buy a car. Researches every detail. And when she finds herself getting frustrated that it's taking so long, she goes, not personal, just personality. Gets to do it his way. Because then when he buys the car, he's going to be happy and he's going to be comfortable. And it's his car. Right? Same thing comes down to how they manage things in the kitchen. He's a blueprint. He's a high blueprint. He says the vegetables get to be cut up a certain way. And instead of asking him, why do you have to cut the vegetables up that way? She says, show me how you'd like to have them cut so I can help you. Think about that. Think about that. So managing conflict, also, you get to ask questions. Because most of the time when we first get into an argument, we don't understand what is at the root of the conflict. We think it's what we're talking about. It might have nothing to do with it. Your spouse might be thinking, oh my God, she treats me like my mother did. I hated it when my mother did this. It has nothing to do with what you're talking about. But you're not speaking into his code so that he can hear you. And obviously he's not speaking into your code because you don't know each other's code. Right? Managing conflict. Sometimes it's taking time away. Take a breather, regroup, come back. I'm just curious. Think about it. People in relationships, they get into conflict over what? Why did you leave the toilet lid up? Or why can't you put the top on the toothpaste? Stupid stuff, right? But instead of saying why, we all know who following what. Why brings in defensiveness, which brings in the ego, which brings in emotions. When emotions go up, intelligence goes down. True for every human being. What if you were to say to him or her, honey, what one thing could I do today to help you to remember to put the toilet lid down for me? Now they get to come up with an answer. And if they come up with an answer, they're way more likely to do it. They're not on the defensive. They don't feel guilty. They don't feel put down. They don't feel shamed. It could be something as simple as, well, you know what? Why don't we just put a little sticky note right over the toilet so I see it every day? I'd be happy to help you with that, honey. Great. Let me go get a sticky note. You've been arguing for years and all you needed was a sticky note. Kathleen says, my husband, I'm telling you, I'm getting old, need glasses. My husband and I do some research and some test driving. Let's do it and get that car. We did that a couple of months ago. Good. See, the goal is to be able to speak and weave in and out of conversation in all four codes. It is absolutely fascinating, the results I'm seeing. Not just in myself and in my ability to speak into other people's codes more quickly, but to be able to recognize it in the moment. They call it speed coding. I'm nowhere near an expert. We did a 3-day training class and the top score of speed coding was 50. I pretty much suck when I got 18. So I get to practice. When I went to that leadership conference that I told you guys about 2 weeks ago, my team, my bank team, said, oh, no, you don't get to send anybody that link in email. You're going to take the cards and you're going to go practice doing it. Fascinating. There were 5 people there from one company. They were so excited we were cracking their codes. And the CEO was there and she goes, oh, well, we all start with an N. That's good, right? Well, not necessarily. I'm an N. I hate doing spreadsheets. I don't want to do technology. I don't want to do budgeting and forecasting. But if I was a high K, I would. So you get to look at how to round out your team better, how to communicate with your partners and spouses better, how to communicate with your children better. Teaching this early to your children so they understand and they avoid a lot of the conflict that a lot of us have gone through. Give me a yes if this is making any sense. It's way too much to talk about in 30 minutes. Kathleen said, send me the link. It helps my health to eliminate the stress, but I want to do it in a positive way rather than stuff it. Exactly. Stuff it down or avoid it. The constant stress these many months, I am sure, has contributed to my current health situation. Absolutely. And part of it is we take things personal instead of understanding that it's personality. So what would be ideal is not only if you took it, cracked your code, but if the other people that are causing conflict in your household, that they take it as well, and then we set up a training on it. Let's set up we could do a 1-hour Zoom. You're never going to learn everything in an hour. Like I said, I'm going through the 12-week coaching program a second time starting in 2 weeks. It's a lot to learn. Kathleen said, the grandkids definitely need to learn this. They fight constantly. Yeah. Their egos are involved. They're kids. Got to be right. Got to be mine. I got to feel good enough. It's amazing. So come from a place of curiosity would be my first thing. And ask that question. You can, the person who sent me this question, private message me if you want to give me a specific situation, and I'll give you some empowering questions around it just like that. We'll reframe it, turn it around, and your partner's probably going to go, who's that talking to me? Right? Because people aren't used to getting asked those kinds of questions. But when you know their code, you'll understand their triggers and their tripwires. And that's way too much information for today. Oh my goodness, we're coming up to the end of the show. If this is something that's interested you, please private message me and I'll get you out that link. You'll get a free report. It's got a lot of great information, and you and I will hop on a call and talk about it. Come back next week. We're going to have Max and Janetta Jones here, and we're going to be talking about a little bit about changing where this podcast is going so that we can impact more people. And I'm definitely going to be bringing in some of this bank training and technology. Let's change the world and get everybody to communicate. I mean, I wasn't kidding. The founder of this just came back from training the United Nations on being able to effectively communicate with each other. Phenomenal. What if you knew how to crack somebody's code and you were dating and you knew that you were looking for a specific code that they would be the ideal match for you? Wouldn't have to kiss a lot of frogs, would you? Oh, Kathleen says laugh out loud. We'll definitely do. Thank you so much for coming, Kathleen. Thank you for coming, Jeff. Thank you to Aruba, my technical guru who makes all of this happen. Come back next week. I guess next week it'll still be called the Intuitive Entrepreneur Show, and then we're going to change the game. Blessings, everybody.
Thank you for listening to the Intuitive Entrepreneur Show, brought to you by Life Coaching Today magazine, empowering your health, your business, your community, your life. Check out the latest issue today at lifecoachingtoday.com. Everyone here at the True Awesome Network asks you to please subscribe, like, comment, and spread